Hey guys, this is John with WalkThroughCode. So in this video, we are going to talk about Async-Await. It's not going to be a long video. It's just going to be a couple little things about it and how to do it. It's really straightforward. So I just wanted to bring this, the caniuse.com to show you for await, where you can use it, which you can use it pretty much all across the board other than Internet Explorer and a couple others. If Internet Explorer is an issue, but you still want to dev on it, you can use Babel to do that. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show you for that aspect of it. Let's go ahead and look at this really quick. We have our index.html page, nothing crazy. We just have a div with an ID of stuff that we may rename later, depending on what we're going to put in there. And then we just have a script tag with script.js, and we have an empty script file. So we are going to create a simple function, an asynchronous function that's gonna give us what we need here. So I'm gonna say function, and we'll call it get hosts. We're going to say let. So the premise behind Async-Await is to basically make asynchronous code look synchronous, which is very cool, and it's pretty easy to do, but there can be some catches that you forget to do and you'll break it and you won't know why. So we'll talk about those when we hit them. So what we're gonna say, we're just gonna use fetch. We're not gonna use any third-party library, anything like that. We're gonna say let sorry about that. We're gonna say let response equal fetch, and then we're gonna go to, I'll show you guys. We're gonna go to this API right here, jsonplaceholder.typeofcode.com. We're just gonna go get some posts. We're gonna expect 100 items, or 100 posts technically. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna steal this one. And then I'm going to say, well, let's just make this bigger. That's just annoying. / posts. Then we're going to say let parsed JSON equal response.json. We'll talk kind of about what's happening here in a second, but remember, this video is not about fetch, it's about the async-await pattern. And then what we're going to do is we're going to return parsed JSON. Okay, so there's a couple of things wrong here, like right off the bat, right? We need to make this function understand what's happening here, because this would break completely immediately. So what we need to do is we need to label this function as an async function. Now it will know that this is an asynchronous function and treat it as such. When we want something to wait to go from one line to the next, we put this thing called await in front of it. And we're basically saying, before anything else happens, make sure that this promise right here resolves. It turns out that .json, the response.json, is also it's also asynchronous, so we need to treat it as such. So we need to put await. So now that we're doing that, this will return us what we need to return. And this looks all beautiful, and we should be able to, in the ideal world, we would be able to just say get posts, and it would just work perfectly. But the problem is, actually, you know what? Let's just run it. So let's console.log get posts, and let's see what happens, because this is something that I wish I had done in the beginning. We're going to say open index.html. Then we will open the console. Okay, and we get a promise. So right here, I mean, despite the fact that promise is resolved, we haven't handled this promise yet. And again, like this is not how it's used, despite that it has that. So what we're gonna do is we need to actually handle this. So what we'll do is we'll say get posts dot then function, and then say posts, and if we console.log posts, and we get rid of this console.log, now we have our posts. So let's talk kind of about what's happening right here. This is really easy to read for most people. If I'm being completely honest, when I first saw it, it was a little bit weird with the whole await thing. But if you think about it as a like stop and wait until this is done, and then go to the next line. Stop, wait until this is done resolving, go to the next line. If you think about it like that, it's not too difficult. Here's the thing though. It doesn't actually fix. I mean, it's not making. It's not turning an asynchronous call into a synchronous, an API call synchronously. So we can't just, we can't just run these functions normally. We still have to use promises when we're not inside of a function that's labeled async. Now, you might be asking yourself, is it conceivable that somebody would write a file, just an async function, something like that, and then just post all their code in there, and then just make it, just kind of go with this whole pattern. It's from what I've read, it's just a bad pattern to be doing this. You could wrap it with like an async iffy, immediately invoked function expression. Again, not the best practice. So I suggest, in my personal opinion, I actually really like the asynchronous, or the async function. I think when when you can use it, definitely use it, but definitely use your own personal preference. In all honesty, writing, if we were to copy the functionality of this particular, let's get rid of this. If we were to mimic the functionality of this particular block of code with just a fetch, we could just say fetch then function. Actually, if we're going to do Async-Await, I'm assuming we probably know ES6 by now. We'll say res.json, then we'll say .then data console.log data, and we're going to get the same result, right? So I think, take it with somewhat of a grain of salt. If it's easier for you to write it async with the async-await notation, have at it. It's great. Other than that, I mean, in my opinion, these, obviously it depends on the function, but I mean, in this case, I couldn't justify it. That said, yeah, like I said, I do like the pattern. I definitely use it, especially when I write React applications and Vue applications. But it's up to you. I'll let you decide. That said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, definitely leave them in the comment section below. I will be putting this repo also in the description. So yeah, please like and subscribe. And that'll do it for this video. See you guys in the next one.